3 months ago, I started dating this guy named Alex. Perfect guy, right? Funny, smart, considerate, had his life together. We clicked immediately. He was the first person in years who made me believe in real love again. Everything was going amazing. We were talking about moving in together, meeting each other's families, the whole future thing. I was happier than I'd been in forever. But then last month, everything started feeling off. Alex became distant. He'd take hours to respond to texts. He was always working late or had family stuff to deal with. Classic red flags, right? My friends kept telling me I was being paranoid, but I could feel something was wrong. That gut feeling you get when someone's pulling away from you. Then, 2 weeks ago, I got a text that made my heart stop. It was from a number I didn't recognize, and it just said, "You need to know the truth about Alex. Meet me at Central Park tomorrow at 2 p.m. Bring tissues." I'm freaking out, right? My mind is going to all the worst places. He's cheating, he's married, he's been lying about everything. I barely slept that night. I kept going back and forth about whether to meet this mystery person or just confront Alex directly. But I needed to know the truth. So the next day, I go to Central Park at 2 p.m. and I see this woman sitting on a bench. She looks to be in her 50s, well-dressed, but her eyes are red like she's been crying. She sees me walking over and goes, "Are you Sarah?" When I nod, she just breaks down sobbing. Through her tears, she tells me, "I'm Linda. I'm Alex's mother." Now I'm confused because Alex told me his mother died when he was 16. That was this whole tragic part of his backstory that made me feel so connected to him. Linda sees the confusion on my face and goes, "Honey, I need to tell you why my son has been lying to you, and it's going to break your heart." She explains that Alex didn't lie about her being gone from his life. She's been in prison for the past 12 years for embezzlement, white-collar crime that destroyed their family's reputation and sent her away during Alex's senior year of high school. She got out 3 months ago, right around the time Alex and I started dating. But here's where it gets complicated. Alex didn't know she was getting released. She wanted to surprise him, to try to rebuild their relationship. So she'd been watching him from a distance, trying to figure out the right time to approach him. That's when she saw us together. She saw how happy he was, how normal his life looked, and she realized that telling people she was dead was his way of protecting himself from the shame and trauma of having a mother in prison. Linda starts crying harder and says, "I've been watching you two together, and I can see how much he loves you. But I also see how the stress of me being back is tearing him apart. He doesn't know whether to tell you the truth and risk losing you, or keep lying and feel guilty forever." At this point, I'm crying too, because I finally understand why Alex has been so distant. He's been carrying this massive secret and trying to figure out how to handle it. But then Linda says something that completely destroys me. "Sarah, I didn't ask you here to confess or to ask for forgiveness. I asked you here to say goodbye." She tells me that she's been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. She has maybe 3 months left to live. I spent 12 years in prison, and now I'm going to spend my last few months on Earth watching my son struggle with whether to let me back into his life. The kindest thing I can do is disappear again and let him be happy with you. I'm sobbing at this point. This woman, who already lost 12 years with her son, is willing to give up her last few months just so he doesn't have to choose between his past and his future. I look at her and say, "That's not your choice to make. And it's not mine either. It's Alex's choice." So right there in Central Park, I call Alex and tell him to meet us immediately. He's confused and scared, but he agrees. When Alex shows up and sees his mother, the look on his face is something I'll never forget. Pure shock, then anger, then this devastating sadness. He looks back and forth between us and goes, "How long have you two been planning this?" Linda explains everything about watching us, about being sick, about wanting to disappear again. Alex just stands there processing it all. Finally, he looks at me and says, "I'm so sorry I lied to you. I was going to tell you everything, I just didn't know how." Then he turns to his mother and says something that broke all of us. "Mom, I've been angry at you for 12 years, but I never stopped loving you, and I'm not losing you again." What happened next was the most beautiful and heartbreaking thing I've ever witnessed. Alex and his mother just held each other and cried in the middle of Central Park while strangers walked by, probably wondering what was happening. But the story doesn't end there, and this is where it gets really emotional. Over the past month, I've watched Alex and Linda rebuild their relationship while also dealing with her illness. Some days are beautiful. They'll cook together, look through old photo albums, share stories I've never heard. Other days are devastating. Linda is getting sicker, and Alex is trying to cram a lifetime of conversations into whatever time they have left. I've been there for all of it, the good days and the terrible days. And through it all, Alex and I have gotten closer than ever because we're facing this together instead of him carrying the burden alone. Linda has become like a second mother to me. She tells me stories about Alex as a kid, gives me advice about life and love, and makes me promise to take care of her son after she's gone. But here's the part that's going to make you cry. Last week, Linda asked me to help her plan something special. She wanted to throw Alex a surprise birthday party. Not just any party, but the 18th birthday party she missed because she was in prison, the one that haunted her for 12 years. So we secretly planned this whole thing, got in touch with his high school friends, his dad, who he'd been estranged from, even some extended family members. Linda insisted on making his favorite cake from scratch, even though she could barely stand for more than a few minutes. When Alex walked into that party and saw everyone there, people from every phase of his life, all brought together by his dying mother, he just completely broke down. But they were happy tears. For the first time in 12 years, Alex felt like he had a complete family again. Linda gave a speech that night that I'll never forget. She said, "I missed 12 years of my son's life because of my mistakes. I can't get those years back, but I can make sure that every day I have left counts for something. And the best thing I can do with my remaining time is love the people who matter most." She looked right at me and Alex and said, "You two have shown me what forgiveness looks like, what love looks like, and that's the greatest gift anyone could give someone who's dying." Linda passed away 3 days ago, peacefully at home, with Alex and me holding her hands. But before she died, she gave us both letters. Mine said, "Thank you for giving me back my son, and thank you for loving him the way I always hoped someone would. Take care of each other." Alex's letter was longer, but the part that made him cry was, "You are the best thing I ever created, and watching you choose love over anger these past few months has been the proudest I've ever been to be your mother." The funeral was yesterday. Alex gave a eulogy that had everyone crying, but it wasn't sad crying. It was grateful crying. Because even though Linda was only back in our lives for 4 months, those 4 months were filled with more love and healing than some people get in a lifetime. I keep thinking about that text I got a month ago. You need to know the truth about Alex. I thought it was going to destroy our relationship. Instead, it brought us closer together and gave a dying woman her last wish. Alex and I are stronger than ever. We're planning to move in together next month, and we talk about Linda every day. Her pictures are all over our apartment, and Alex has started cooking her recipes. The crazy part is, if Linda had never gone to prison, if she had never gotten sick, if she had never sent me that text, Alex and I probably would have broken up. He would have kept carrying that secret until it destroyed us. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us lead to the most beautiful outcomes. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most are also the ones who teach us the most about love and forgiveness. I miss Linda every day, but I'm so grateful she was brave enough to reach out. She saved her relationship with Alex. She saved my relationship with Alex. And she taught both of us that love isn't about having a perfect past. It's about choosing each other despite an imperfect past. So that's my story. If you're going through something difficult with someone you love, if there are secrets or shame or complicated family stuff, I hope Linda's story reminds you that it's never too late to choose love over fear. And if someone reaches out to you with a difficult truth, maybe don't run from it. Sometimes the scariest conversations lead to the most beautiful relationships. Thanks for listening to this emotional mess of a story. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had an experience that completely changed your perspective on family or forgiveness. I'll see you in the next video.